Hello, hello,
Hello,
hello,
everybody.
Hello,
hello.
everyone. Welcome to the Political Pulse, people. We are here to talk to
Am I the
you.
only one with no audio? Am I the drama?
No, we hear you. You're not the drama right now.
Can y'all hear Millicent?
Yes.
So it is me. Okay, that's
Okay.
cute.
You're the
You keep
drama.
talking. I'll figure it out.
Mm.
So I hope everybody is doing well tonight. We are back another week. Kenny has let us know that we have how many days, Kenny, to voting?
So, for me, because I'm in Maryland, early voting for me starts on the 24th of November, but I mean October. But if you want to register to early vote, you can actually still register your voter registration. The last day for at least for my state is going to be October 15th.
Yeah.
So that's the last day to register online. Some places you can still register same day, or you can register still before the 15th or after the 15th.
I was talking to Elle before this. This is a little bit off, but at this point in time, I just don't understand. I don't understand how people. I was just looking at the news, and the president was talking about misinformation about this current hurricane, and I just don't understand how people just. If you just come and say, "I don't want to vote for Kamala because she's a black woman," okay, let's get that on out the way. Be honest, and then now let's talk about just forget about the people. Let's talk about what it is you want. Trump has not, at this point, at least I haven't heard it. He has not told us anything to hold on to believe in him or anything. He's taught us how to offend people. I know how to offend people better, but but other than that, that's it, and that's not a nice thing to
He's
do.
also taught you that if you say something long enough and loud enough,
People will believe it. But that's the
people
thing.
will believe it.
We've heard him on tape saying, if I ran for president, I would run as a Republican because they would believe anything I would say. And that's exactly what they are doing. And it's like, how could you just really, honestly, as a human, go along with that?
I think a lot of people are just very susceptible to misinformation. If you say things in a charismatic way, I think it's very, it resonates with a lot of people because they lie like it's a drop of the hat. I don't understand how they're so good at lying. I mean, they sound so convincing with their lie. They
Yes,
lie with conviction, actually.
yes.
And unfortunately, just like they're just, used car salesmen at this point. I mean, it doesn't matter what they're willing to lie about, even when they're actually preying, on people's pain, especially when it comes to disaster relief, when it comes to this hurricane. You
Right.
saw how quick it was very well for them to scapegoat immigrants, saying the reason why you guys aren't getting the funding is because, Democrats are giving money to immigrants when that's not so. That comes from a separate bucket. And the
Speaking.
fact that a lot of people aren't, civically aware or understand how our government works, a lot of people can be susceptible because, again, a lot of people's grievances come from a misunderstanding on how our politics and how our government works.
Can we talk about a separate bucket real quick? Because I was at lunch with someone and the conversation had come up about the FEMA relief and the money sent overseas. I don't think people really understand because I've seen comments where people say your $750 is in Israel. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so here's
Mhm.
my thing when it comes to that. I think a lot of people don't understand that when they're talking about a dollar amount, they're talking about the amount of money that is actually being sent as far as weaponry. These people aren't
Right.
making it rain on Israel or Ukraine. I don't know why they're
Okay.
sitting here thinking that somebody's
But
giving them cash in their pockets and that
I think
somehow,
Right. They're giving
they're
them
just
the
that's the thing. That's what they think because the narrative is how $750 is not enough for anybody to do anything, right? But then all these millions and millions of dollars go over there, and I was like, there's money put aside for these different things. FEMA
But again, if
has.
you want to have a say in how much goes where and how these pots are
You have
divvied
to
up,
vote.
you
You
have
have to
to vote
vote.
and not just in a presidential election. And it goes back to Kenny's very beautiful full song. It's not complicated. You just need civic engagement. If you want to have a say in how many dollars are allocated for military defense in our foreign security program, then you need to get
Yes.
your ass out there and vote and make it look like that on paper. But
And
to
then
say that
not
you're
only
not voting in a presidential election because that didn't happen is not only dumb, but it also proves how ignorant you are.
But not only that, but go out there and do the research for yourself. Go out there and figure out, why does FEMA have this money? Why does this place have this money? And maybe you'll understand, because it's not just like Kenny said, you're not just making it rain, like you coming in and just getting duffel bags of money. That's not how it works. It is a disaster going on. People need relief, and $750, that's not enough for anybody. But it's gonna have to do. It's gonna have to do.
Well, this is let's just go ahead and reiterate the point that the $750 isn't all that they're actually getting. That's just immediate
Right.
money right then, and it's not taxable. So this isn't seen as, gross income or anything like that. This is just something right now, immediate. But that doesn't mean that they're not providing water, not providing foods, not providing, when they go and they check and survey how much damage there is. So if you're either underinsured or uninsured, FEMA's going to help cover that if you go to their website and actually apply for the funding. So the problem that I'm having with the misinformation is the fact that people are saying that, oh, the $750 is all that you're getting. What that's going to do is be a deterrent from people who are actually in pain and people who actually need the assistance from going to these websites, going to apply for the assistance that's needed, applying for the funds that's already available for them. The other issue is a lot of people are saying that, well, we have all this money to, fund these other countries, this, that, and the other. However, and it's funny that Republicans are weaponizing this and pushing this misinformation when MAGA Republicans actually 2 weeks before Hurricane Helene voted against funding FEMA. So we have to put the blame where it actually belongs. On top of that, is Joe Biden, President Biden, and Kamala Harris actually called on to Congress to actually come back in session. Mike Johnson said that we're not going to go back in session until after the election, even when it comes to immediate hurricane relief and what's happening to hurricane victims. They said that we don't care. So who is
on
the
top of
problem?
Ron DeSantis not taking a phone call?
Oh, look,
every turn they tell you that they don't care.
Let's hear from Tiffany real quick.
As Kenny was saying, with the $750 is for immediate help for people to get food, water, different things like that. But you have other resources that are coming in. We have to be very mindful to let people know that not only is FEMA there to help homeowners, they're there to help renters. That's something that a lot of misinformation is going around, that, oh, if you're not a homeowner, you don't get any help. That is not true. You just have to be able to apply for it. They give you the $750. I even saw several people saying that they got $750 up front, and then a few days later they got another $1,500. So I've heard that there have been several disbursements since Hurricane Helene made landfall, and the applications have started processing. So it's not it's very important that we dispel that misinformation, because one person can tell another person, and then there was this whole town that was literally inundated with this misinformation, and all these people were thinking that they weren't going to get help. An actual mayor, I believe it was in North Carolina, they had to go around dispelling misinformation. There are literally FEMA agents that are on the ground, that are going to be on the ground before Hurricane Milton even hit. President Biden has already dispatched those people getting ready for readiness. That's what we need to understand. And when you discourage these people, you're only hurting them. You're only hurting them. Misinformation is only hurting the victims. And that is where we have to dispel that. Now, I have to be honest. Some people just don't want to be helped. Some people just want to, they just want to hear this and absorb this because one man said it. It literally came from one man. When have you ever seen this type of misinformation around a natural disaster? Let's be honest. Have we ever seen this before? Donald Trump got on stage at a rally and he said, hey, there's no money for you. You're only getting $750, he says on Devil is a Lie Social. Then he says at a rally, oh, well, they take all the money and they give it to migrants. That shit spread like wildfire. It literally spread like wildfire throughout MAGA. And then we had other people spreading it that weren't MAGA, that didn't do their due diligence as they should. And that is the problem that we're having right now. I just want the pertinent information to get in the hands of the people who need it, the victims. That's my point.
Well, I have been talking about the misinformation. I don't know if we're gonna to that point, but you keep speaking about it. A big problem with misinformation is the diffusion of it to social media, right? It's easier to spread fake news like this, and then with people who are not people who are not willing to do the research to go look it up for themselves, they take on this and they run with it. And it's so hard to change their minds. But I think this is a certain demographic of people also.
I think
Because
it's a
they
certain
just
demographic of
they
people, but
want
I
to hear what
also
they want to
I
hear what
don't
they
think
want to
that.
hear. You don't think so?
I think that to a certain degree, but I also think like when we tell people to be educated voters, I think we're at a point now where disinformation is so easily accessible that we have to start defining what researching looks like and what reputable news sources look like, right? Like all of these mainstream medias, they're owned by somebody. There is an agenda. We can all agree to that to a certain extent, right? But on CNN, they showed you in preparation for Hurricane Milton in Tampa, where they were already cleaning up from Helene, there were 2 miles long of trucks ready to be filled with debris to help clear out these areas of Tampa. And they sat there because they only had one digger to clear all of the debris. So it was only one apparatus that could pick up the debris and dump it in the dump trucks. But they had dump trucks for 2 miles long. These are representations of what your local government is doing. And then you compound that with saying, yes, Governor DeSantis didn't answer a phone call. Those things aren't mentioned as hot button issues to say like, oh, look, the right is better than the left. It's to say, look, you have one politician who was quite literally being a politician, taking care of the people. We don't agree. We on different sides. Well, you know what I'm saying? What you need? You need a digger. You need some salt. You need some sand. What's tea, boo?
Right.
And that phone call got ignored. So this is what you have to be versed on. These are the people. And then you have to go down the rabbit hole and look at who they're aligned with. And you can begin to surmise what 4 years under this leadership looks like. But at this point, to just dump everything on the president or to say like, oh, I'm not voting because like Kenny said, if you got millions of dollars to send to Israel, then you could do something about housing crisis. It's like,
I think people are more amped to go ahead.
Well, no. Go ahead, Double D, and then I'll jump in.
I think that people are more amped to believe rage farming. That's what I think. I think that people they take to that. Like the rage farm atmosphere, like somebody getting on here and saying FEMA is only going to give these people $750 to rebuild their home. People are gonna and they're giving all the money to the migrants, the illegal aliens. They're giving it to them. I believe that they're more amped to stop on a video like that versus stopping on a video with the actual
right. The Americans are taking care of the American people.
Yeah.
I mean, but look at
you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
but let's be honest.
It speaks to Kenny. It speaks to Kenny. Like people will hear Kenny saying, "Motherfucker, stop it." You know what I'm saying? It's not the truth. Versus Double D, grab your tea, have a seat. It's not the fucking truth. Okay. You know
they don't hear that. The problem is a lot of people
like they're stopping there.
You got to meet people where their energy is. A lot of people are frustrated and they're looking for a type of a scapegoat to push all their problems on. And most of the people that are talking about hurricane relief have never been in a situation where there's been a national disaster. I have.
Yeah.
I'm from North Carolina. I lived in Lumberton during Hurricane Matthew. So I know what a Trump presidency looks like and what he would actually do if he were president in this moment, which would be absolutely nothing. My governor, Roy Cooper, requested so much money from
it. You know he would throw paper towels at you. Don't do that.
Well, we know that too. But my whole thing is my governor requested so much aid from the federal government and from the Trump administration and was denied 99% of his requests. 99% of his requests. Still to this day, there's still places in Lumberton that still haven't been fully repaired. There's been people that were displaced. There was people who still have lost everything. My uncle literally had to move in with my mom for a very long time because he was misplaced and he struggles with a mental illness. So you're talking about somebody like Donald Trump who did not care about those victims. But let's even tackle it on a little bit more. We saw what happened in Puerto Rico, to where there was even a probe into to the administration that was literally denying money to Puerto Rico. Donald Trump said he does not care about Puerto Rico. They lost nearly 3,000 lives due to Hurricane Maria, and Donald Trump denied
Mhm.
them any type of help or relief.
And
This
see,
is the
that's
type
what
of
I'm
president
talking
that you
about.
think is going to be better in this moment than President Biden, who does not care about who your party affiliation is, because he has an actually moral obligation to the people who put him in office, regardless if you're a Democrat, independent, or a Republican.
But this is exactly what I was talking about at the top of the show. We got to get out of the fact that this is a black one and woman two, right? If Donald Trump is
If
saying that
they
he
could get
doesn't
out
care,
of that, girl,
hold
we
on,
could
hold
get
on
our
one
way
second.
into world
Hold on,
peace.
hold on one second. If Donald Trump is saying that he doesn't like Puerto Rico, he doesn't care about Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is part of the United States of America. You want to be the person who reigns over the United States of America. You have to have compassion for the country. He does not have that. He does not have compassion for anybody. You're on, like, it's not a family situation. He doesn't make you feel comfortable as a black woman. He doesn't make me feel comfortable. I don't know, with a daughter, I'm not comfortable about that. And then he's just blowing any way the wind blows. Just to, what was that he said he was gonna do? Give you some, what was that he said? He had come up with a policy that it just fell through the cracks because it just didn't make sense. He couldn't keep it up.
Well,
He
I
could
just
not keep
know
it up.
that as
I'm
far
not
as
saying
he
they
was going to
reign over
repeal the Affordable Care
America.
Act.
Wait a minute, Joe. I'm not saying they reign over America. I'm saying they have to care about America. They're the president
Mhm.
of the United States of America. And for you to say that you don't care about Puerto Rico,
It starts
like,
from the
don't,
top down. And
yeah,
this
it
is the
starts from
reason why so
top
many
down.
people are emboldened to be as racist, as xenophobic, as homophobic, as anti-black as they are. It's because we allowed this man a platform to spread his prejudice to the American people. That's
Yes.
what the problem is.
And
Well,
That's
the
what's going
why
problem
on.
is
and
that if we say yes to Trump this election, we will forever change the political landscape as we know it. We're talking politics, right? When we talk about picking a president specifically, we talk about something that is very, very finicky.
yes.
How you look, can you be relatable to most Americans? Can you feel like this whole idea that you can have a sit down and have a cup of coffee and a conversation with your president is ingrained into our politics, right? If
Yeah.
we let the person who we all can agree we can't do that with, who is divisive and all of this, if we let that person become the president again, the door is open for anybody. Like, there is no longer even a social standard that applies to this job anymore.
When I was reading about the misinformation, it was saying that before social media and content creators, like, people believed what people said because there was nothing else you could go by but what that person said. But once we come on here, we're doing the political pulse and we're talking about it from our standpoint and from an American standpoint. Then you have somebody that's saying, oh, like whatever Trump is talking about. Like, people don't, some people want it to be done and they just don't want certain people being the president of the United States, and they just go with it. They don't care about how it's going to affect them. Because these people, I need y'all to understand, Trump does not care about you. He wants your vote, but he said out of his mouth, I don't care. I just need your vote.
I do need Kenny to know that currently my 10-year-old all day long has been singing, Trump don't give a fuck about you, Trump. She
Damn.
over
I
her.
needed to make a
First of all,
teen version of that.
first of all, I'm a new age parent. In the house, if you need to cuss to get your point across and you talking to me, go ahead on and get it out and
Oh
communicate,
Lord,
and then we
I
can
would just,
figure out some better
whew,
words. That's
oh
just me and
Lord.
my household. I don't invite nobody else to feel the same. However, I was playing the song for my husband, and my daughter was coming in to say goodnight, right? I don't know what political freak in me has rubbed off on my kid, but this kid is into politics and she hates Donald Trump. And this goes way back. When he was first running, she was 4. We were walking down the street one day, just picked her up from daycare. We was out running errands. And she goes, it's too cold outside for September. This is Donald Trump's fault. She hates that man at 4. Okay. She was in love with Obama before she could even call him Obama. She called him Obama. Okay. She
Yeah.
hates this man. So when she heard that song, she was like, somebody gets it. And she woke me up this morning and she was like, hey, mom, guess what? And I said, what? She said, Trump don't give a fuck about you. I said, please.
Yeah, Kenny, you hit that one out the park.
Look,
out the
I'm
park,
just trying to
man.
do my best to try to get people civically engaged. There's a lot of people that I know that are super young and watching everything you do. So I want people to understand that a lot of people think that, oh, well, I'm just voting or I'm not going to vote because, this isn't going to affect me. This is going to affect your children. It's going to affect your
Yes.
children's children, because what will happen if Donald Trump is able to get reelected? That means you have 2 Supreme Court justices, Samuel Alito, and then you also have Clarence Thomas, that are old. Okay. They're getting up there in age. And if they retire, Trump will be able to appoint someone much younger that will be able to reign for over 50 years, that will decide not only women's reproductive rights, but our civil rights and civil liberties for the next 50 years, you guys.
I'm glad you said that, because I don't think people realize that. I don't think they realize what a Trump presidency looks like for the future, right? He's put these people in place already here, and he will put others in place, and they will be there until they're not. And they will be making decisions on our bodies, on who we love, who we want to love, where we live. And I think that I need people to get out of the demographics of people's skin and get into how is this world going to be for your children. You need to this is a vote for women and a vote for children. This is what we're voting for. Because anything else, we won't have any children, or either we won't have mothers, because mothers who are trying to have children, they have complications, they're going to leave too. And it's just your life is on the line.
The best way of framing it is, how would you feel if your daughter or your child will grow up with less rights than you had growing up?
Absolutely.
That's going backwards. In order to build intergenerational wealth, or you want to see your child do better than you, you want to make sure that your child has a leg to stand on if something, God forbid, happens to you. So what future are you leaving your children? We already see when it comes to climate change that these people done got hit by, I don't know how many, like 2 hurricanes, 2, 3.
It's going down.
Back to back.
Category 3 wind speed 115 miles per hour, wind gust 150.
Tiffany, you talking to us? You're muted.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tiffany. What were you saying?
I wasn't saying anything to y'all.
Oh, okay. No,
I was talking to them.
Okay.
She's mothering right now, so she got
okay.
Do y'all think though that the way that Milton it's about 9:30. So as we were on here, Milton should have officially touched down based on the projections. Do you think that the way this is handled could have the ability to impact the election one way or another?
Absolutely. Yes, because it impacted in 2016 when we got hit with a hurricane. Like, I was supposed to actually do on the ground work for the Clinton campaign. I was supposed to be on the ground, boots on the ground. The hurricane wound up destroying and washing away the campaign headquarters that was in Lumberton. So we weren't able to knock on doors. We weren't able to organize. We were able to vote. However, voting was a process. I mean, there was only a few polling locations that were still available that we had to go to, and where my original polling location, they sent me somewhere else, but I was determined, and I've always voted early. I've never voted on election day. So during election day, I was, carpooling, trying to get, my then ex to go vote, and I'm taking them up and down the street trying to figure out where's this polling location. He's supposed to be going to this location. This is what it says online, but that one's down. So we're just trying to figure it out. We wound up getting him to vote, but still, a lot of people were still confused, and some people, when they get to the day, they're not determined to continue to vote. They're like, okay, I'm gonna go home. So in this situation, this is gonna deter people from actually being able to, execute their constitutional right to actually vote and be engaged. This is where the problem is gonna be.
That's interesting.
Ron DeSantis did deny extending the online registration deadline. he did do that. He will not allow it to be extended. So this is definitely going to affect it for sure. I just wanted to
I
Yeah.
was actually asking in the way of swaying or solidifying people's opinions. Yeah, for sure. I wasn't even
I think
thinking
if people
about the
look at
polling.
I think if people look at how the president and the vice president tried to make contact to help people and were denied. I think if people look at how Trump is handling it, like you, there is clear that there's a clear, like they're just different. And I'm not saying, just do this because what we're saying we're doing. We're asking to vote for the right thing. We got people right here that could leave here tonight, right?
Hmm.
And people have tried to, the president, the vice president has reached out and have been turned away. That is insane. That is crazy.
I
I
think
think
that
it
we just need to turn away from social media because I want your people to understand that social media isn't real life. I know in real life when I went through, hurricane disasters and stuff like that,
Hmm.
I wasn't looking at social media to figure out what people thought about what was going on and what the relief effort looked like because I was too focused on trying to get the
Hmm.
help that I needed. So what we
Right.
saw is we saw our local officials working with the federal level and working with FEMA. And from what I understand from actually being a hurricane victim, is FEMA doesn't come in and just take over.
Right.
They're not coming
Thank
in to
you.
take over. They work in tandem with your local and state government. They
Hmm.
have to abide by the rules that they are allowed in that area. So most people are not focused on that. And a lot of these people who are talking all this mess, they're just trying to be contrarian just for the fact of just being contrary. And we just have to
And
tune that
that
out.
and that's where we are. 26. I lost count. 20 something odd days away.
Hmm.
We are at the point where we've officially reached desperation mode on
Yes.
all ends. You know what I mean? On the disinformation side, on the just we're just desperate. It's just this last push. And so again, you have to be really
You
clear
just
on
really
who.
you really have to vote. You're voting for yourself and you're voting for your children. I think that's how I look at it. That's why
Mhm.
I'm voting. I'm voting for me, my autonomy, and my daughter, and just for right. I'm voting for calm. You know what I mean? It just makes more sense to me.
All right, so I got a question. So I don't know
Okay.
if
Yes.
you guys seen the viral video that has been spewing on the internet with the Green Party finally coming out and telling what their real end goal is. Um, I guess at a rally speech for Jill Stein before she was introduced, one of the speakers said that their main goal is to make sure that Kamala Harris loses Michigan because that will
Yeah,
deny
I
her
saw
the
that.
presidency. They
Mhm.
understand that Jill Stein has no viability or no real path to the White House. So their only
Right.
goal is to deny Vice President Kamala Harris the presidency. I want
Mhm.
everybody else's thoughts on this, like on this situation, and then I'll give mine.
what do they think
Um,
is going to happen to Palestine if Trump and Dump becomes president? That would be my question. I mean, that would be my answer. What do you think is going to happen to Palestine then? Because you're definitely not gonna have any calls for peace and all of this. And if Donald Trump becomes president, you think they sending money over
Mm-mm.
there now? They really gonna be sending money over there then once Donald Trump become president, and if the Republicans get more power over the House and the Senate. So that would be my question to them. I thought the video was deplorable. It's
It's
not,
horrible.
quite frankly, it wasn't not expected. I don't know if there's anybody that has been paying attention to the Green Party and Jill Stein that didn't expect to see something like that. So I
Hmm.
wasn't surprised by it, but I would ask them, what the hell do you think is going to happen to Palestine now? That's what I would say.
I think that a lot of people need to. I really and truly hope that people can see through that and let it just sink in that. First of all, where have they been? Then she comes up and she's denouncing, or not denouncing, but wants to get Kamala out, not even have Michigan. Like, I need people to just really get with it and just vote. That's what I need. I just need you to vote, people. That's it. I'm done.
I would say Kamala's currently up 1 point in Michigan, and that's all we need to win the state.
Well, there you
um
go.
And so there's that. Obviously, it's polling people win elections and not polls. But I would say to like duh. I expected her to say that. This is the same push. This is the same push as Kanye coming down the elevator steps with Donald Trump. This is all to split the vote. We've seen this play. They run the same play every time, and it's honestly, it's kind of like y'all not sick of being tackled. We see the route. What are you doing? Please get a new coach.
Right.
So I would say that it's just it's sad. And then I would ask them, I'm like, oh, you don't plan to send your kids to public school? You don't plan on participating in the government as we know it? You like getting your own
And
credit card?
Michigan needs all the help that they can get in the world. Let's just be
hello,
real.
Mr.
They need all the
Templarist.
help. Mr. Water, Mr. No Water. I mean, it's horrible. And you want to talk about global warming?
That's what you should say, Kenny. You should say, don't piss me off before I donate you to Canada.
Look, the thing that doesn't make any sense is I don't believe that Michigan voters will vote Green Party. I think that she might get a little decent point, but it doesn't take much for us to lose this. So I don't want to discount anything because we already saw in 2016 that Hillary Clinton barely lost by a little bit, and Jill Stein took votes from her that was desperately needed in 2016 for her to carry that election. But I want people to understand when Trump was in office and we saw that Flint was without water and they were being poisoned by lead paint and lead pipes. You had Donald Trump go on Twitter every day talking about infrastructure week that never happened. He kept saying he was going to deliver to the American people. He said, we're going to do something, and did absolutely nothing. He stayed on that golf course and worked, and he played on that golf course and didn't do anything for the American people. I think the only thing that he was actually, successful at was actually giving tax cuts to the rich and bearing the brunt of all the costs on the middle class people like myself, and most likely be everybody on this panel, while we got absolutely nothing in it. So my question is, when Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris came into office, and not even a year into their term, they were able to pass the infrastructure bill, which was able to allocate billions of dollars to states like Michigan, so that way they could replace those lead pipes and replace that, so that way that they wouldn't be poisoning our Black babies. So my question is, you have an administration that actually worked and somebody who was a part of that administration that was able to pass a historic bills when some of these pipes weren't being replaced since the 1970s, you guys.
Yeah.
That's before I was even thought of. That's how long it's been.
Yeah.
Them able to do this and be able to do it on a bipartisan level to where they was able to get Republicans and Democrats together to do something, and you're going to want to go back to just partisan politics to where they're not delivering anything to the American people? Is that what we're trying to do? When you're talking about you care about Palestinian liberation, and you have Donald Trump, who's literally gone on record saying that he doesn't care if Netanyahu turns Gaza into a parking lot. How is that liberation? That's devastation.
How is that a president? How is that a president?
It's not. And Biden just this week, to add to your point, he just passed within the next 10 years, every state in the US will have to pull up their lead piping. So within the next 10 years, we won't even have these conversations about not infrastructure in this way, but infrastructure. We won't have the conversations about coating the pipes to protect for the lead because they'll be gone. That's this administration.
That's right.
But here's the thing.
I saw that today.
But Trump is going to try to take credit for it if he gets in office. Just like he tried to take credit for Obama's good economy. Trump did absolutely nothing.
He did nothing. He did
all
nothing.
The only thing he
did do something. He did something.
Things were done.
Is what he did.
He invoked a travel Muslim ban. So that's another part, Michigan. I'm trying to understand. A travel Muslim ban, you guys. So what do you think if he's saying that he also wants to invoke mass deportation? And if they're able to implement Project 2025, where we're not able to organize to at least peacefully protest and show our disdain for our government, how are you going to be liberating anybody when you're just going to be putting yourself and subjecting yourself to chains?
It's just stifling. It's stifling and putting you in your place.
It's not progress. But I think a lot of this stuff, unfortunately, is rooted in a lot of anti-Blackness, because it doesn't matter how many Black people come out, and we basically tell them, look, we're going to be on the front lines when this stuff happens. We're going to be the first
Mm-hmm.
person affected when this stuff happens. Now, we've stayed with you when it comes to pro-Palestine. We stood with you. We uplifted you. We made sure that we shared. We organized. We're doing everything we can to hold our government accountable. All we're asking for is a little sense of safety and for you to
Yeah.
just vote one time while we can hold this person accountable. We can bully this administration. We can bully Kamala Harris into moving more left, moving more progressive, because we
Mm-hmm.
did it with Biden. Are y'all forgetting about student loan debt forgiveness? Joe
And
Biden
it's
said he was
back.
going to get $10,000. He said that's about all you're going to get if Congress puts it on my desk. Congress didn't do it. So he had to use
I was about to say
existing
Congress it
policies
won't.
in order to get it
Yeah.
done. He had to go through the Department of Education to get it done. So my question is, if we've been able to move Biden and push him further and further and further to the left, why would you want to work with somebody who's uncompromising like Donald Trump? Like, how
It's just
strategic is that?
And
You
he's
may
going to
not
have so many people to please too. He's going to have a lot of people that he's got to please.
yeah.
With Project 2025, if he's reelected, he's going to have to
He's got
please
to come through on that.
Netanyahu and all these other people. He's going to have a lot of people he's going to have to please at the expense of you. All those billionaires that he had in there talking about, oh, well, if y'all, what was the oil tycoons that he had in there talking about, oh, if y'all
Mm-hmm.
give me some money, then I will, then I'll do this A, B, C, and D. Oh, yeah, I make your dreams come true. What you think's going to happen with them taxes? What you think's
Oh
about to happen,
Lord.
big baby? What about that trickle down economics? How is that working for you? You guys want to talk about how bad the economy is, how bad things are going? We are literally in the middle of Frumpy Dump's tax cuts right now. This is
Right
Frumpy
now.
Dump's. This is Frumpy Dump. Okay, we're living through his mess.
And I
Come
don't think
on.
people
His
understand that,
actions and
Frumpy Dump
Tiffany.
was it? What
Pe-
Frumpy Dump? Go ahead.
People don't understand that, Tiffany. I think it's just so lost on a lot of people that the Biden administration inherited everything that he did wrong, and now they're trying to undo it, and it's still not coming to fruition. And people are blaming the current administration for what he did. Now,
But I think
now,
a lot of people
God
need
for
to start learning how to blame themselves. We got to start taking accountability for what we did. I mean,
okay,
at the end of
yeah,
the day, I know I'm an accountability king. Okay, I know I didn't do everything that I didn't have the ability. I tried my best, but a hurricane knocked it out, child. We was doing everything we could on the grounds to try to get Hillary Clinton elected. Unfortunately, a
yeah,
hurricane happened. Can't control the weather. Regardless of what right-wing conspiracies are saying about Democrats apparently controlling the weather and controlling this hurricane's, child. But we got to hold ourselves accountable. The fact that Roe v.
yeah,
Wade was overturned, that's our fault. We were warned about it. We didn't take it serious. A lot of people said the Supreme Court doesn't matter. Well, apparently it did, because Roe v. Wade was
yeah,
overturned, so was affirmative action. And now you're looking at Asians not being able to be accepted into these college campuses. Now you see the effects.
When their leader
But
was an Asian man, I do never want to miss that opportunity. I never want to miss the opportunity that the man who spearheaded and put his hat on that coat rack was a recipient of affirmative action himself. That man played in the sandbox and then tipped it the fuck over. And I will never let him forget that. And I hope his ancestors keep my energy.
ooh, well, there's that. But we do got to hold ourselves accountable. I know a lot of people feel that their vote doesn't matter, but I want people to
yeah.
understand that if we all vote, Vice President Kamala Harris, she can win.
She can win, and that's what we got to do, people. That's why we're here. That's why we're talking y'all every week, because we care about what's coming for you, what's coming for us, what's coming for your children. Because this is a scary situation.
So,
Well,
Elle,
y'all,
how are we looking in the
Milton,
polls so far, and what do we need to do going forward to try to make sure that we, crunch these numbers for Vice President
Well,
Kamala Harris?
I know
y'all,
for us, we are doing each one. We're doing something like take 4 to the poll, right? So as far as Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is concerned, that is one of our programs, and that is what we are pushing forward. So if you have to get people out, you know what I'm saying? If you have to, just go get them and take them. We don't have a situation that Kenny was talking about, like with a hurricane. At least some places don't, right? So go and vote, people. Early voting, just go. It's your right. Your job can't fire you for voting. That is your right. So if you need to leave on your lunch break and go vote, go vote.
No, you should definitely vote. I am a pollster girl. I love reading the polls. I love knowing where the people are. I love the political science of it all. So currently, for the first time in this whole election, since it's been Harris Trump, currently Kamala Harris is up in the national polling. Now, that is something that we should all pat ourselves on the back about because we like it. But also, we do not win by national polling. If that was the case, Hillary would have been in office. We need to win state by state. So here is your official state check-in. Net. I do have to go look and see how Tampa normally votes, and I'm interested to see that because currently Trump is up plus 13 points in Florida. If you know anything about polling, there is normally, depending on who does the poll, so you go anywhere from like how accredited the poll is to the least accredited, you're looking at anywhere from a 3 to a 6 point swing. And it's normally in the Democratic favor because they normally poll the Democrats. You normally know where Republicans are. So you're looking for it, all of the Republicans, and you're kind of just trying to mush that on up. So Trump being up 13 points is really like, damn, y'all fucking with him. Okay, like we get the point. He's up past the swing. But I'm interested to see how this fares with Hurricane Milton and all of this and all of the polling, especially if the projections for the storm is you've got Harris up by less than a point in both Pennsylvania and Michigan, which are both very big states that she needs to win. She's up in Wisconsin and Nevada. So if you take that Wisconsin, Nevada, Michigan, she's won that blue wall, which is really all that we need if you're doing your 270 math. But Trump, and this is where he gets mighty, Trump is up in a lot of red states that only hold 1, 2, and like 3 points. When you're on election night and those polls start closing and you're faced with the realization that you only need 1 point to win, these 1 and 2 point states add up, and they add up very quickly. It's a very easy strategy to be like, oh, I'm gonna just rack up all the big points and get to 270. But again, it's first in. So you gotta kind of have to lay that out. Trump is currently in Pennsylvania. He did 2 days of rallying there. So he's working for the people. We also have weird things happening in polling where you've got a lot of unions aren't picking a side. So that's rather interesting. But if everybody shows up in the way that they said they was going to on these polls, it's looking like we can get her done.
That's wonderful. I think that is amazing. What do you all think about this evening? Chat, this has been great.
I think that we can win this election again if everybody turns out just like Elle said. We can do this, but it's more than just, oh, I'm just gonna show up and vote. You need to bring somebody with you. Bring my boyfriend. I'm encouraging all my coworkers, even regardless of the fact that I'm not supposed to be talking politics, but I just can't help myself. My mouth is big. Okay, look, I've been working them every day, trying to get everybody involved. It does not matter if you're in a blue state or a red state. You need to encourage everybody to vote because your vote matters, okay? And you
take 4 or more. 4 or more.
You'll be surprised. I want people to understand in 2020, Georgia has not turned blue since 1992. That's how long it's been until Joe Biden flipped it. It can happen.
It can happen, and you can do it.
Arizona as well.
Yeah, I saw where Tim Walz
wasn't it right,
Arizona.
Kenny? Wasn't it Arizona too that was flipped to blue?
Arizona, we flipped Arizona as well.
Flipped.
I remember that. Okay,
I saw Tim Walz is there tonight.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to tell everybody, thank you guys for coming. If you're out there in Florida, I'm praying for you guys, sending positive vibes. Hurricane Milton should be making landfall any moment now. If you were supposed to evacuate, please get out. I wanted to mention something about FEMA that I think that we need, that like they really need to address, and I'm hoping that they address it soon. Like when you like, I'm from Louisiana, so of course I was here when Hurricane Katrina came, and it came at the end of the month. And you have a lot of people that are have Social Security and stuff. They haven't gotten their Social Security yet, things like that. I think that FEMA should address before these type of things hit. Maybe they could provide people with some cash to try to evacuate, because I was watching The Breakfast Club. Kenny, don't kill me. I was watching The Breakfast Club, and there was several people that called in, and they were saying, hey, there are a lot of people around that didn't have the money to get out. You know what I'm saying? So FEMA should really address that. Like maybe
Yeah.
perhaps they could do something where people could start applying before. I think that could get tricky though, because you don't know what areas are going to be hit. But that's something that could be addressed. I just wanted to put that out there that we're praying for everybody. I know it wasn't easy. It's hard to evacuate and try to leave, pick up and go and take all your pets with you. We all know that is hard, but we are praying for you. You have a president and a vice president and the administration that is rooting for you, and they're making all those resources available. Unfortunately, Ron DeSantis is being Ron DeSantis, and the Republicans are, but we are all rooting for you, and we're with you, and we're praying for you, and hope that it's all safe. Make sure you guys register to vote. Go to vote.org. Check your registration status if you're not going to vote early, and make it do what it do. You need to make it do what it do. Thanks, players, for joining. That's all I got.
Tiffany, thank you for saying that, because I said it earlier too. The idea of evacuating is a very privileged idea in and of itself. Everybody can't do that. Guys, we are grown people with grown things to do. Tiffany got a family. Millicent is booked and busy. I got to put my little one to bed. My little one that be singing Kenny song. We appreciate you guys for being here. Work on that voting plan and vote. And be nice to people.
And don't forget, everybody, we gotta sound off. Give everybody where everybody can follow you.
Okay.
And watch
I can be followed on YouTube at Millichan TV, TikTok Millichan08, Instagram Millichan, and I am praying for you all in Florida, and Milton has touched down. They have made landfall.
They have made landfall, Millicent, please.
I didn't mean landfall. You know what I mean? They have touched down. So it is definitely hype at this point right now.
I thought it was at 2:30 in the morning. You see it right now?
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now.
It a few hours ago for a 9 o'clock touchdown.
Yeah, it's there.
I'm Elle. You can follow me on Instagram and over on TikTok and here on YouTube at Just Elle Murasaki. You can follow me on Twitter at It's Elle Murasaki.
Kenny?
And I'm Kenny Raw to Real on all platforms. You can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter. Now it's X. Okay, that's where I really get down. Especially that's my stomping grounds, because that's where you can get and see me more active.
And we have to give a shout out to Zach. He was not able to be with us this evening, but he is a very big part of us, and we miss him when he's not here. But hopefully next week he will grace us with his presence. And I just want to once again thank you all for being a part of this. Thank you all, chat, for being here.
Millichan, you treating Tiffy like Jessel. She didn't tell us where we could find her.
Oh, go ahead, Tiff.
Okay.
I
got just follow me, Double D Mother, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just Twitter. Y'all follow me, Double D Mother, MUVA. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye, you guys. See you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.